Detecting Talk of the Day, December the 15th, 3:35. The XP Deus 2. Me and a friend went detecting yesterday. I think he might have found better things than I did. I think he found 2 or 3 buttons. I don't think I ever found a button. I dug mostly lead. Side is riddled with iron. I ran both the Manticore and the Deus 2, both with 9-inch coils on them. But when I ran the Deus 2, I ran it some in multi-frequency. In most of the hunting I did, I ran it in single frequency. And I would compare targets. Alright? I'm going to give you some advice here. You know, you take it for whatever it's worth. You know, multi-frequency is sort of the end thing now when it comes to metal detectors. Just remember one thing. XP, maybe they left that mono program on that Deus 2 for a good reason. In particular, the higher frequency. Say 39 kilohertz and higher. You might do some good in a high iron sight digging all non-ferrous. Okay, now the ID's not going to be as good on average. What did I notice in this site yesterday? Now the ground was wet, but not overly wet. Lots of iron, and the ground is not deemed hot ground. This site dates back to at least in the 1700s. Okay, it has had Spanish bits found in it. A few older American silver coins. Alright. A lot of flat buttons. Lots of flat buttons. By me over the years and a few other people. All the signals that I checked, that I located with single frequency, and I ran the highest frequency on the machine, which is about 45.4 kilohertz. The signals were smoother or a tie when compared to sensitive FT silencer 1 with equal reactivity. It was either a tie or the smoothness of the target located went to mono program. And what I mean by that, there's some of those signals that I listened to in the multi-frequency. I might have had some doubts about them if I would have just located them with that versus the mono program and its tone of behavior. Now, disclaimer, I ran the big headphones for the Deus 2 wireless, not the little old small ear cup things, the big ones. Now, it was a little windy down there, but, you know, I listened objectively. Okay? Now, a lot of people, you know, I've not seen a lot of videos showing up on YouTube where people are running this Deus 2 at high iron sights running mono program. That's what that thing's in right now. You see that? So, Sharpshooter's giving you some advice. Now, remember this too. Now, I'm no engineer and I don't know how this plays into this exactly. But when it comes to digging, let's just say things we would consider worthy finds, you know, not spicks and, you know, not little specks of non-ferrous. The frequency used, I guess maybe you get to a point with higher frequency, you know, you get to a point where it's like, is there any return? Does it start diminishing as you get higher and higher? And I'm only bringing this up because remember the old Deus 1 HF coil, the round one? Well, it stopped at like 31 kilohertz, and then the next band picked up at 50. So on this Deus 2, you get to run in the 35, 36, 39, all the way to 44 range. Okay, you couldn't do that with a Deus 1 HF coil. Okay? Now, I may go back to this side because it's in very good shape. Since it was turned into cropland, it's in pretty good shape. Some rain on this and some cold weather will level this out because they disc it down about 3 inches, looked like 2 or 3 inches after they picked the corn. Alright? And I may go back down there. I may show some of this maybe on camera. Here's the other thing to keep in mind. What didn't we ever see with an HF coil that operated like the 9-inch HF coil? We never seen an 11-inch coil, did we? Well, if you own an 11-inch coil for a Deus 2, you've got yourself one. So that could be handy in a site like that as well. I didn't run the 11-inch coil. I've never ran the 11-inch coil in this site using mono program. I've ran this 9-inch coil, I believe, twice. Yesterday would have been J number 2. Now, I didn't hunt a long time. You know, it wasn't an all-day event. But I got enough data to see a trend. And there are some targets and some iron arrangements where this mono program is going to get you on something and multi-frequency won't, and vice versa. So give that some thought when you're out there in those high iron sites. And hey, you know, you can set your machine up, hunt with one a little while, hunt with the other, and you can actually do comparisons on the targets and see what you hear and see. It's good learning, okay? But the fine folks at XP left that on this machine, and I think that's a bonus. Because the Deus 1, even using single frequency, you know, was no slouch in the engineering department, okay? It got high marks from who? Mr. Dankowski. I think he knows what he's talking about, okay? If you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe him. Of course, he was using an XP Go Max Power, which, you know, that's basically like a knob job Deus 1. Alright, it's got the DNA in it. Deus 1's got that XP Go Max Power DNA in it. The Deus 2 mono program has got that Deus 1 DNA in it, but you get to run a call at slightly higher frequency. The Deus 2. Okay? Now for select digging, no, multi-frequency probably still carries the day. But for purging all non-ferrous out of a site, yeah, that damn single frequency on this machine, boys, you need to give it some use. That's going to conclude the Detect and Talk of the day. I hope everybody has a good evening.